Hey everybody, we're back. Now what we're going to do is a more advanced mouth plate. So what you want to do is, again, fold the foam mouth plate pattern, trace it on wood or plastic or the other materials that I said, and basically cut that out using a jigsaw or a hacksaw. And once you've sanded them down, basically you're going to measure, like the other mouth plates as stated before, you're going to measure a space in between. It could either be by a ruler or using a pencil or pen. And then you'll have your space, and then what we're going to do is we're going to duct tape that together. And or gaffer tape. So there we go, we put it on one side. Then using the technique as shown in previous ones, you're going to bend it over the table edge and do that side as well. Now just to let you know that these mouth plates and everything that I'm showing you has kind of been handed down and taught to me by other puppeteers. So I don't want to take full credit of all this information. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's new stuff and it sounds new and it's you know, whatever, the first time that I've heard that these are being made, but this has been trial and error through other people's hard work, so I just wanted to put that out there. So now that you have the duct tape mouth, just cut away the excess that you have on the sides. I like to use a razor here, so cutting them off. Just watch out your fingers. Squeeze them together. You might want to also put a piece on the side too, just to seal the sides if there's any. Now what you're going to do is you're going to again trace where your hand is located. You can trace around your hand, or if you want, make 4 circles. I recommend the 4 circles for the next step, as well as your thumb, where your thumb sits as well. So that's easy. Now you might be saying, okay, you're using a black marker and you just put it on black duct tape. Well, you are correct in saying that. So what I like to do is I get a white Sharpie and I go over those black lines. I could just see them faintly in the light that I'm using. So I just take my white marker and then basically over trace those so I can see those marks on there. It's actually not a white Sharpie, it's a gray Sharpie, but anyway. Now what I do is I put it into a vise, and with a drill, I'll basically drill out those holes. And the bit is basically probably the diameter of the dots that you've done. That's what I kind of use for that. So just go over there, and then to get the other side, take it out of the vise and flip it around, do the other half. Make sure you're not sandwiching both sides into the vise, because if you put both sides into the vise and then go to drill your holes, you're going to be drilling through both of the mouth plates. So make sure you just do one at a time. Now it's tricky because when you're going through the duct tape, sometimes it catches, so you just want to go in and out a couple times just to make sure that you have a hole that the rivets can go through. So there's the holes. You might want to sand them down a bit just so you have a clearer, cleaner edge on there. Now, as before, like stated again, we're going to fill in the little gap just to create a sort of a cushion for your hand, and also just put a little bit of a grip there for your fingers. So I just mark it on there where I think it's going to go. And as stated before, I like these little foam tubes that I cut in half, so just watch your fingers when you're cutting them in half. Now what we're going to do is build the strapping for your hand, for the top of your hand. So what you want to do is trace the mouth plate that you just made, just the top portion of it, and cut like 1/3 down. So you're going to go probably as far up to the where you see the sort of notches on your that you made on your mouth plate, and just freehand you're just going to I'm using gasket rubber here, trace it onto gasket rubber and then cut it out. And I'll include this pattern actually in the next video, and all you need to do is cut it out here. Now it's really important that, I mean, it's a lot of just messing around with it and trying to get the right size. So this should follow down with a little bit of a little hump in it, because it's going to be riveted down a bit. So it looks fine to me. So like I said, you don't really need to stress too much about that part. Just make sure that you have enough so that it curves up. Now what you're going to do is grab a piece of fabric. I'm using Velux here, and you're going to trace the pattern that you just cut out onto the Velux or the material that you have. Now just make sure that you're giving it about a ½ an inch on both sides. Make sure it's overlapping, and I just flip it over to create the line there, and I'm going to cut it out. And this is important because after you glue it onto this gasket rubber, it's going to fold over onto the other side, and I'll show you that later. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take that and sort of set it aside, and then grab a piece of felt or other fabric. I have a Lux here, and basically I'm going to trace the top half of my mouth plate where my fingers are going to go. You can also use the mouth plate pattern itself, but I like doing it this way because I can indicate where the top screw, the top rivet holes are on the pattern, so I know how far I need to go with the inside circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an inside circle just freehand, about ½ an inch, and I'm going to cut that out from there. And that'll give us the covering for our mouth, the foam mouth grip on the inside there. Now, after you cut it out, just make sure it clears the holes that you drilled, and mine do, so that's fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sort of go back to the first tutorial, and we're going to glue down the foamy. I just glued both sides and then let it dry a little and stuck it on, as well as the fabric piece on top. So this is a fabric piece that I just cut out, and that's going to go on top of the foam piece. And what you want to do is push it all around, make sure that it gets as close to the foam as possible and it's not flared up. Now once that's dry, what you're going to do is you're going to just trace another sort of half circle, making sure that again it clears the drill holes that you have in your top mouth plate. What you can also do, I guess, is just trace the blue piece that you just sort of made, but it needs to be a little bit bigger than that blue piece. So doing it freehand, I mean, no one's going to see that if you make a mistake because it's going to be inside the puppet head, so that's the good thing about it. And then what you're going to do is press it up against the foam part and just indicate it on the gasket rubber as well. And then you're going to cut out not only that piece, but you're going to cut out the piece in the middle. And what this is going to do is this is going to go on top of your Velux or your fabric piece that you just put down, and hug the foam piece, making sure that it clears the again, it clears the drill holes for the rivets on each side. And what I think this is really good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down on top. Now you can trace it onto there so you know where to put the glue. I usually just do it freehand, and I put glue onto the gasket rubber and then glue around the area, wait for both to dry, and then put this on top. Now like I said, if you make a mistake, you can always just tear it up again and try again, or recut it to fit, and it'll be hidden, so you really don't have to worry about that.